Small Things Like These is a novella by Irish author Claire Keegan. It won't take you long to read, but any time is time you can't get back. So is this worth your reading time, or should you take your time elsewhere? Hi, I'm Amanda, and this is Spineless Books, your one-stop shop for all things audiobook. Now, our main character in Small Things Like These is Bill Furlong. Bill is married with 5 daughters, and he sells coal to make ends meet, and barely at that. He was raised by an unwed mother, and it was through the generosity of his mother's employer that he was actually able to have a shot at a relatively decent life. Now, he is by no means wealthy, and you can imagine with 5 girls, he's got a lot of expenses, but he's a hardworking man who's hardly ever home because he's always out distributing coal around town. His own mother's circumstance is in the back of his mind when he visits a convent to deliver coal and meets a young girl who is unwed and has had a baby. And that's where things get interesting. Furlong feels compelled to do something for this young lady, and that's essentially the plot. This is an interesting book in that I could literally tell you everything about it, beginning to end, and it really wouldn't spoil anything. It's one of those books where you have to read it to understand what the beauty is. Claire Keegan is an excellent writer. I really like the way that she describes what it's like to live in a downtrodden experience in the 1980s, because that's when this book takes place. It's not the 1700s or the 1600s. It's the 1980s. So is it today? No, but it's within this lifetime for many of us. So that kind of puts a spin on it that is a little bit more unusual than you might think about an ordinary story about the downtrodden like Oliver Twist or something famous like that we don't associate with now. I think Keegan does a great job of keeping politics out of something that could be highly political. She really doesn't go into anything. It's just Bill Furlong dealing with his situation and how he reacts when he encounters someone else in a tough spot. So this could have gotten heavy as far as the political implications go, but she just sort of leaves that out. She makes it about the human experience, not about the government and systematic experience that you have to kind of think about as you think through this story. She just lets you come to that on your own rather than beating you over the head with it. And I think that makes this story much more universal and much more approachable. She kind of sneaks it in under there. I'm curious to read one of her other novels, Foster, which is also set in Ireland in the 1980s. That's clearly her time and place that she's interested in portraying. I think it's also about a struggle, so I'm curious to see how she portrays it differently in that book. If anything, so far these books have reminded me, well, the one I've read has reminded me the most of Prophet Song, only it's just not violent and really over the top. I feel like this piece of Small Things Like These could lead to a story like Prophet Song, and you can actually get a sense of how the roots of something so extreme as that could start in a story like this. It's narrated by Aidan Kelly, who's got an everyman vibe, and he does the story justice. He's not particularly remarkable as a narrator, but he's a solid contributor to the story. Folks, it's hard to believe, but I sort of feel like that's all there is to say about this one. I think it's worth the risk of reading. It's short, it's quick, and if you don't enjoy it, in reality, have you wasted that much time? You haven't. The audiobook was about 2 hours. That's a pretty quick read. I usually listen to less than that in a single day. So I was able to finish this one in one sitting from beginning to end, and I know that could be true of the paper copy too. So I think it's worth a risk. If this topic is at all of any interest to you, or if you like some of the classics, I think you might find this modern take kind of cool. So give it a shot. But remember, you might love what I hate and hate what I love, so make your own opinion. But thanks for listening to mine. I hope you like and subscribe. See you next time.